Welcome everyone to another episode of Big Brain MMA podcast. Me again, back again. 2 podcasts in one day. Just trying out this new thing with my final bets. As it's been suggested to me, I think it's a great idea. I usually don't have a lot of my bets finalized when I do the podcast. Everything is usually done on Saturday after weigh-ins. I like to simmer on my bets, think about it, sleep on it, see where the line goes. Like last week I had, Guida last minute, contemplated Angela Hill last minute. Like the line moves a lot in the last second. And I'm really bad on Twitter. Even though I say I'm going to post my final bets on there, the only place I do is Sherdog. So I think this is a good idea to have a quick little overview of everything that I finalized every week. So we'll see how it goes, if it's a success or not. I've got all my bets in front of me. We'll go top to bottom. And go from there. Cameron Simon, Stephen Koslow. Nothing there. Didn't bother taping. Like I said, no tape. If I was going to have a little poke, maybe I'll do Simon KO around 2-3. Little Lambo, $50 parlay for fun. Otherwise, nothing there. Don't like to make guesses on fights with no tape. Next one, Daniel Da Silva. So this one, I already had Salvador under 1.5 at -200. I thought there was still value. Like I mentioned, the last fight with Altamirano, the under 2.5 was $1.60, right, which is insane value. That was due to Altamirano being a decision machine, and we've seen one knee to the gut, and the guy was out. So even decision fighters are going to, they're finishing the Silva in one exchange. He just doesn't seem to be able to handle any adversity, which is why now the line is -200. I think there still could be value here because now he's fighting a finisher, right? So this very well might not get out of round one. So you're still getting some value on the 1.5. So I parlayed it with Cup for the last week of the event. I know someone told me the Cup is a good play and I should look into it. Someone I really respect. And I just didn't have time to tape it, and I knew the $1.44 line would move, so I just put half a unit on that. And then today I put $50 on Silver round 1 at $7 just for fun, right? It's the best value on the card. I think he gets finished, but Salvador's pretty chinny himself. He's been finished, he's been submitted before. I didn't want to guess submission or KO. So I did that for fun, $50. And then I put $1,000 on the under 2.5 at $1.25. I found it on one bookie, Top Sport. I thought that was great. It's essentially the same line as the finish on all the other bookies. It's a bit juiced, but I mean, I've done this before. I've played it for the Tai Tuivasa Handsucker fight, $1.25 for the under 2.5. I played it for the Todorovic, Jordan Wright fight, same odds, $1.25 for under 2.5. Pretty much fights that I don't see getting out of round 2. And we're getting $1.25, which is about 80%, but I think 95% of the time, those fights end right in under 2.5 rounds. So I don't see this fight getting out of round 2. Out of one part of me, it might get into round 2, but there's no way this gets out of round 2. So I was going to put another 1,000 on it, and then it went from $1.25 to $1.17. So I kind of killed that line. I mean, I assume it was me anyway. So yeah, just have $1,000 on under 2.5. Under 1.5, just like a half unit play with Cup. But otherwise, I would have hammered that. One. So yeah, I don't see the way how this gets out of the second round personally. But rounds 1 and 2 is $1.20, so it's not much better down the 2.5. So Eric Silva, TJ Brown. I didn't tape this originally. I taped it now. Still having a read. I was contemplating Silva. He just seems like the more trustworthy guy. Someone that's. He kind of reminds me of the Liza. He's got a bit of a grit about him, which TJ has no grit. He's a flake. He's chinny. I don't want to make that assumption because I haven't seen Eric Silva come up against any adversity. Thought about the under, caught my eye, $1.72. Again, I don't want to assume Silva can be tough. TJ Brown, he has been submitted, he has been KO'd before. I just don't know. Making too many guesses. Billy Quarantillo, Alexander Hernandez. I did mention that I was eyeing the under 2.5 at $2.40, and I thought the doesn't go decision was going to be generous due to that line. And I was quite disappointed when I looked at it today. It's a pick'em minus money somewhere. I honestly didn't expect this much money to come on the under 2.5 in 2 days. I didn't think it was that much of an obvious spot. I didn't think people were going to catch on. So it's a bit my fault. So then I feel kind of like I'm priced out. At pick'em, It feels like it's 50-50 whether the fight finishes or not. Like I mentioned on the podcast, I don't trust Billy Quarantillo's finishing ability that much. Like he's a bit like Nico Price. He can't throw proper punches. Everything's looping. Doesn't have technique. It's more just puts everything into it. Very close to not finishing Gabriel Benitez, who I think is a little bit chinny. Just a bit of a meme finish from the back just because he busted up his eye. Never in any danger of finishing Shane Burgos. Never in any danger of finishing Gavin Tucker. Carl Nelson, gassed. Spike Carlisle was also gassing. Never in any danger of finishing him. He's just more athletic. And I also think Alexander Hernandez is quite athletic too and can pose some problems. But on the other hand, he's going to keep pressuring forward. There hasn't been a fight where Billy hasn't pressured. That's going to put Hernandez in the spot that he doesn't like to be. He is very allergic to pressure. He does get cracked all the time, rounds 1 and 2. And I mean, if Billy just keeps pressuring, plus the added aspect of dropping down to featherweight, I kind of have to have something. So I found a line where it's just barely plus money. I think it should be slight favorite odds for the fight to finish. I think it should be more likely to finish because it's got that round 1 equity from Hernandez and then Billy Quarantillo down the stretch. So I put a half a unit on the fight to finish, and don't really care who wins. It's dog or pass for me anyway. I think Hernandez is going to pose some problems for Billy early. He's a punching bag. So half a unit on the finish there. And if you want a nice little cheeky stab, Billy Quarantillo rounds 2 and 3 by KO. I think KO. Paying $7.50, exact same odds as Phil Rowe last week, which I used to hedge my Nico Price. So you can put a cheeky 100 on that. But yeah, half a unit on the fight to finish. Next fight, Chris Curtis, Jacqueline Buckley. I said it was dog or pass for me. That line kept moving since the podcast, which is insane. Just quite interesting to me. I get that, Buckley's got better movement, but I think it's a bit of an overreaction to the Hermansson fight. I also think Hermansson would kick the shit out of Buckley too, so a bit of an over-exaggeration. I personally, thanks to Scrap, I played that Curtis no scorecards. I found it at $2.40, which was better than Curtis's money line yesterday. Now, because more money's coming in on Buckley, Curtis is also $2.40 now. But I mean, there is a chance that Buckley can KO him, even though he's been KO'd once in his life by Ray Cooper Jr., the second fight of the night in PFL. No one hits harder than Cooper, right? Not even Buckley. So it is capable. I mean, he got hurt by Hermansson. He shells up and he takes a lot of damage, so anything is possible. But I mean, if I lose that, I was still going to have half a unit on Curtis money line. So either way, I lose. At least this way, if Buckley wins a decision, which I think is the most likely outcome by sticking and moving, I get my money back. Because I only win if Chris Curtis gets a finish, which I think is quite likely. Hence why I chose to play that line. If he doesn't get a finish, then I think he drops round 1 at a pretty high clip, and then the fight gets quite sketchy. But still, at $2.40, all the values on Curtis, in my opinion. So yeah, no scorecards there. Third Dean, what a guy! I was in the chat. What would you personally line Salvador at? Salvador money line? It's tough, man. It's tough because with Silva's fights comes a lot of volatility, and he's dangerous, and he's also a flake at the same time. And Salvador is not. He's not someone that I would trust too much. Right? He's been finished whenever he's taken a step up. So yeah, and he's got awful takedown defense, which Daniel Da Silva's every time he's attempted a takedown, even on Molina, he's got an instant takedown. He's even had Molina's back for a long time. So yeah, it's hard to trust a debuting guy coming off Contender Series that's been finished a lot and he's fought at a level of competition. And whenever he's fought someone at high level, he's been finished, KO'd or submitted. So I would probably cap him. I don't know, $1.67 at 60%, slight favorite. But then the longer the fight goes, it becomes more bigger and bigger favorite. So it's a tough one. I don't blame anyone hitting Silva, but if you were hitting Silva, I would hit Silva rounds 1 and 2. It's an easy bet. He's not winning this down the stretch. Okay, what do we got? Edmund Shabazi and Dalcha Langibula. Nothing here. Didn't have anything originally. Don't have anything now. Under 1.5. Only thing I would consider. Covers Dolce Bonk. Covers Edmund submission or finish, like in the old days. I just don't know how it's going to come out. Jairzinho Rosenstruck, Chris Dorcas. I did have Dorcas under 1.5 here, which is $1.72. The under 1.5 rounds. It's come in quite a bit. It's like $1.60 now, so I beat the line movement. It still leaves me with a bit of pause. Pretty sure I'm going to cash it out. I've seen on an interview Dorcas saying he doesn't plan on standing and banging with Rosenstruck, which was one of my main reasons to back the under. Obviously, between them two, not counting the Garn fight and not counting the Overeem fight where there was a lot of grappling, they've only gone over 1.5 once, where with Junior Dos Santos just barely went over by about a minute. Every other striking fight, one jab against Crowder, one jab against Arlovsky. Junior Albini grappled him, and he still ended. He grappled him relentlessly. He didn't want to stand with him at all, and he still ended under a minute round 2. Francis Ngannou straight away. Sakai did nothing, and the first combo he threw knocked him out. And Volkov as well, which I didn't think that fight was going to end because I thought Jairzinho was very durable. I thought he was going to go over due to a slow, steady pace, and Jairzinho kind of hurt him, and then Volkov came back and knocked him out. So, and Dorcas, obviously, Dorcas is very fragile. He is fast. I think he can stick on the outside because he's very nimble and he's very fast because he's quite small. But I mean, he tried to do that against Lewis, and the second Lewis cornered him, he finished him. Same with Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades chose to have a slow outside striking battle, and he still busted him up in round 1. The few times that he countered him, he hurt him, he just bloodied him up. And then round 2, the first counter he threw, which was just a straight down the pipe, just put him out cold. I just think he's a bit fragile, and he also doesn't have the cardio. So I think at some point running away from Jairzinho and looking to stick and move, there's plenty of time for him to get countered. Or even, counter Jairzinho. Jairzinho has no head movement whatsoever. And I don't trust his chin as much now after getting wobbled by Volkov. I thought his chin was essentially indestructible. So yeah, I think this finishes under more often than not, even at my line, $1.72, that caps it at 60%. I definitely cap it at 60%, if not more, maybe 65, because all their fights have essentially finished in the under, apart from one. But yeah, it's just I don't want that feeling of the fight going into round 2 and I miss out. I put a unit on it, I put $1,000, and there's a reason I hate these over-unders. There's no worse feeling than watching the clock tick and it just gets over the 1.5 mark and you lose your money. And, it was like close. They were dropping each other all over the place. I hate that. That's why I'm so sporadic with my overs-unders. And usually I hit them because I got a lot of confidence behind them. I don't risk my money unless I'm completely sure. I'm not completely sure here. I can see a lot of moving around. I can see a lot of steering from Jairzinho. I can see a lot of cautiousness from Dorcas. So yeah, don't want to risk it. Instead, what I've chosen is I've just bitten the bullet. So instead of doing the under to cover both, rounds 1 and 2 is horrendous. It's $1.30. I don't understand how the under 1.5 can be $1.70 and rounds 1 and 2 $1.30. I expected -200. So instead, I'm just going to bite the bullet, and on PointsBet, there's Jairzinho and under 2.5 rounds. It's $1.95. So it's almost plus money. It's better than Jairzinho KO. Yes, with Jairzinho KO, you get 2.5 more minutes in round 3. But I mean, it's pretty unlikely that the fight's going to last that long personally, even if they do stare at each other. So yeah, I'm just going to go half a unit on Jairzinho under 2.5 rounds, plus money. I trust that he's not going to get knocked out by someone like Chris Dorcas. So let's move on. Now, Jay Perrin Paul versus Junior. Now, with scrap, I was talking about playing versus Junior and the over. I said I'd retape it, get a better read. So I retaped it today. Didn't see too much extra. The only thing that I came out with was a bit of less confidence in Perrin. I just don't know if I want to lose money on him again. I lost it on a Richie Lang, $2.50. No regrets there. Lost at 29-28. Almost knocked him out in the third. Could have took him down every round if he didn't get wobbled each round. It just basically came down to 2 moments. I feel like the same thing can happen here. He always gets taken down. I feel like he's definitely going to get taken down against Rosas. Rosas won a 30-27 on Contender Series. He barely had any bad spots, and when he did, he was out of there straight away. I don't think someone like Perrin is really in any danger of finishing him. I saw really good submission defense, really good heart, really good guillotine defense in particular. His opponent has really good guillotine, so I don't blame him constantly going for him. He obviously hits him a lot. I've seen it on tape. But yeah, really good composed guillotine defense. I don't see old mate guillotining him or submitting him, even if he gets his back. I don't see Rosas finishing Perrin either, which is why I like the big dog shot. You know, a decision, can potentially see a scramble heavy 29-28. Perrin can take him down as well. Do a little bit better than Mango, who, you know, kept going for his back and kept getting reversed. But I just don't, yeah. I haven't seen the kid gas. Didn't see any weakness. I can see, you know, Perrin reversing, but constantly getting taken down late. You know, big moments here and there, just losing a split. No finishing upside from either one. So I've cashed out my Perrin, and I played the over 2.5 at Pick'em. Essentially, they got it 50-50 that the fight's going to end over under 2.5. I see it as a moderate favorite bet that it's going to go over. I mean, the only way it goes under is Rosas finishes ground and pounds Perrin, but I don't see it. Perrin's been only guillotine once in round 3. Other than that, you know, took a beating from Batista, took a beating from Arichi Lang, had his back taken by Silva, black belt, had his back. He was in a lot of submission attempts. And the only guy submitted is the guy right before UFC, who's also a can, and that guy had his back too. So I see this scramble heavy fight. I got the over 2.5. I think there's a bit of value to pick him. And I'm going to live bet the rest. You know, I see maybe Rosas does slow down in this one because this is a pay-per-view. It's a bit of a bigger step up. That's the narrative going around. But I mean, I saw no nerves from him in the Contender Series. The kid's just there to fight. So over 2.5, half a unit, pick him, and I'll live bet the rest. Bryce Mitchell Tapuria. I already broke this down on the podcast with Scrap. A lot of questions, a lot of assumptions you have to make. I didn't like Bryce getting taken down by Moffat 5 times, getting controlled by Tyler Lyman in the third. I think he's made some improvements. Hard to know. Ilya hasn't come up against any adversity. I think Mitchell is durable. He's fast. He can push the pace. So I left half a unit on him at $2.40, and I'll just live bet the rest. I think more often than not he's going to fight for my money, so I'm happy with that. Darren Till, Duplessis, dog or pass. I haven't come up with any better takes on this fight. I'm just going to leave it. Darren Till does look good. It's a confidence increase. You know, he's definitely come in shape. Much better than other fights. That's the main narrative. You know, you don't know what's going on with Till, blah, blah, blah. It looks good to me. It's just the greediness of Duplessis. You know, and Darren Till, you know, he's not going to I don't think he's going to knock him out. Just kind of need big moments to drop him. But yeah, no heavy take here. Just have to pass. Santiago Ponzinibbio, Alex Morono. Only fight I didn't retape. The reason is I taped Eric Silva, TJ Brown today to see if I would see something, and I saw nothing. So I'm going to trust my gut. I know that if I retape Ponzinibbio, Alex Morono in short notice, Ponzinibbio as a juiced favorite, catch weight of 180. I'm going to trust my gut and save some time and not waste my time taping this fight. Paddy Pimblett, Jared Gordon. Nothing as of yet. I'm just going to sprinkle Jared Gordon by decision. Tiny bit, maybe 0.1 unit. Just for fun. All right, $100. $100 win 400, 450 on some books. It's going to get wider as more money comes in on Paddy. And then I'll leave the rest for live bet. I don't want to leave everything for live bet. I feel like Jared Gordon can have some good moments early because Paddy's always getting taken down, getting pushed against the cage. So you just have to. Academical $100 on Jared Gordon. Haven't played it yet. Mr. Parky, thanks for joining me, mate. I prefer Perrin Menline. Rosas hasn't faced much resistance. I'm confident Perrin will stuff his shots and line him up on the feet. I'm not confident he'll stuff his shots, man, because he's been taken down by everyone, literally everyone. If you go through his record, he's been taken down by bums. His athleticism is the problem. He's good at getting up, but he does give his back up. He's good at scrambling. Yeah, I just see it. There's no way he stuffs all takedowns. I'm calling that now. Right, Dwight Joseph took him down. Diego Silva took him down. Joe Smith took him down. 10-6 Joe Smith as a can. Mario Batista was throwing him around. Right, he's getting taken down. Right, this kid is at least a very good wrestler, if anything. Not saying there's no value. I've chose to be a little bit conservative with my plays, you know. I think the over is a lot safer. And if Rosas finishes him, then same thing. I would have lost if I backed Perrin money line anyway. So if he doesn't finish him and it goes to decision, I win my money either way. So just a more conservative approach. But Perrin is the value side. And main event, Jan Błachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. I looked into this one on the podcast. I said Jan was the value side. I guess I still agree. I don't like how his striking consists of loading up and blitzing in occasionally. You know, he does have a big reach and does work on a lot of people. Kind of looks a bit sloppy, and it's what got him KO'd against Santos. He was losing that fight on the outside. I just think Ankalaev is a really good counter striker, and blitzing in like that against a giant can get him put out. I said I like the over 2.5. What I've actually played is fight stats round 3. The best bet I could get is $1.60, which is not bad. I think there's a bit of value on there. I think the reason I was scared of 2.5, last time I played 2.5, Rakic blew his knee just under it. Right, I'm not saying that's got anything to do with Jan or anything, but if you look at Jan's career, he knocked out Reyes just at the end of round 2. Rockhold round 2. Thiago Santos, I started round 3. Krylov round 2. Clark round 2. There's got a bunch of decisions. So it's just something about later on. I think round 2, round 3 is when it gets a little bit sweaty. Like, he had a really close technical fight with Thiago Santos, and then I think he realized he was losing, and then round 3 is when he decided to blitz and he got countered. So I think if he plays Magomed Ankalaev's game for round 1 and 2, like, I think he's going to play it for at least 2 rounds, right? He's going to be patient. He's going to be checking kicks, doing his thing, might get taken down. Round 3 is when he's going to get aggressive and potentially get countered, potentially get finished, or even maybe finish Ankalaev, right? He does hit hard. Ankalaev's been cracked before. I think round 3 is when the sweat's going to come on for me for the over-under. So I just thought fight starts round 3. A little bit safer than the 2.5. Yeah, I'm relatively confident there. And the other player I have is Old Mate Tattoo and Dreams. I don't know if he's in here. He showed me the bet that Ankalaev and over 1.5 on Unibet. It's paying $1.84. Almost to pick him. I wasn't a fan at first because I didn't think there was much value, and then I looked at some bookies that have the over 1.5. You can do same bet multis over 1.5, and then same play multi with Magomed, and it was nowhere near $1.84. So I thought there was a bit of value there. I mean, I think he goes over 1.5 like 90% of the time. I don't think anything much is going to happen. Both guys are durable. Both guys aren't going to be taking much risks. It's a title fight. So over 1.5 goes over a lot of the time, and even though I don't think there's much value in Ankalaev, the $1.80 price, it's going to force my hand a bit. So it's going to go over 1.5 more often than not, and then I just need Ankalaev to win, which whatever. If he does, he does. I'll put half a unit on it. I just thought that was a good line, and he might still be up there. And shout out to Tattoo and Dreams. He put a little bit of money on for me because I'm limited on Unibet. They love to limit you, dogs. That's it. Let's go through the bets. So nice little quick one. Nothing on the first fight. Daniel De Silva, $50 on round 1 just for fun at $7. $1,000 on the 2.5. I think that should be 90%, 95%. And I just have a parlay of 1.5. I don't think it goes over 1.5 either. It's just I didn't want to hammer the minus 200. Nothing on Eric Silva. Half a unit on the Quarantillo Alexander Hernandez fight just to end and finish at plus money. I'm looking at live bet on Quarantillo. Maybe Alexander Hernandez round 1 stabs for fun. Chris Curtis, no scorecards, $2.40. I think that's a great line. Obviously, everyone's expecting Buckley to finish him. He's a KO artist. But I see Buckley winning a decision most likely, which if you want, you can play the decision. It's $4.50 somewhere. I just chose the no scorecard option. Nothing on the Edmund fight. Jairzinho Rosenstruck and under 2.5, half a unit. I think he's 9 out of 10 times he's the more likely guy to knock out Dorcas. Jay Perrin, Rosas, the over. I pick him. I think a lot of the time this goes to a decision. Perrin, very durable. Rosas is just going to grind him if he does win. I think there's going to be a lot of scrambles. I think Perrin's going to grind him. Yeah, no quit in either of these guys. Bryce Mitchell, half a unit. Show me spot. Let's see what he can do. Hopefully he's not on his. I hope he's improved his takedown defense. Darren Till, nothing. Santiago, nothing. Paddy Pimblett, sprinkle on Jared Gordon. Decision. I think that's the best play. The finish is a bit juiced for Paddy. At lightweight, I think Gordon's chin is a little bit better. Got the cardio. Paddy gives up a lot of minutes. So just a tiny sprinkle, $100, and then I'm going to wait for live bet. And then Jan Ankalaev, fight start round 3, pardon me. Put K on it, full unit. As scary as it is, I think we're all banking on this being a boring fight. 2.5, just get a bad feeling about 2.5. But I can see this going a long time. It's just at some point, Jan is going to start blitzing, and I can see him, either getting cracked or cracking Ankalaev. And I've got that special play that Tattoo and Dreams from Unibet mentioned, Jan Błachowicz and over 1.5, not Jan, Magomed Ankalaev and over 1.5, $1.85, half a unit. So yeah, a little bit of sprinkles here and there. We'll see how it goes. Usually I would do this. Let me just address this comment. Parky, he can be taken down, but I don't want to be controlled for long. Best of luck this weekend. Who are we talking about, Parky? Talking about Jan? Or are we talking about Jay Perrin, Rosa still? Yeah, usually I would do this on Saturday, which is when I like to finalize my bets, weigh-ins, one last look, see how people look, see if anything scares me off, anyone misses weight. But obviously, literally now I'm going to the airport and I'll be away for 3 days, enjoying a Bucks night weekend. So, yeah, nice and early today, and every other week it's going to be Saturday. Hopefully it's successful. At least you get my proper picks, my last-minute thoughts, rather than sometimes being all over the place during the podcast with scrap. Yeah, for favorite bets. It's a tough one. I have sprinkles and everything, so it's hard to really have conviction behind. I have $1,000 on under 2.5 at $1.25, bit juiced. It hits more often than not. So let's just say that if you can find $1.25, put 3 units on that, man. It's exactly like the Todorovic Wright fight and Tai Tuivasa Harry Hunsucker. Those are max bets for me. You know what? I like Jairzinho on under 2.5 at $1.95. I think that hits more often than not. Parky Perrin, yeah, you're right. He can be taken down, and no, he can't be controlled. You're right. He can't be controlled, but he does get controlled for a bit. So in every round he gets taken down, in every round he gets controlled a bit. So there's a reason Bautista won 30-27. Right? He couldn't really control him, but he controlled him enough. He kept taking him down over and over again. And Silva, before the UFC, took his back multiple times. Yeah. He's good at scrambling, and it's why it's dog or pass. But Rosas Jr. is relentless enough, right? He couldn't really control the other guy either. He kept falling off the back, the guy on Contender Series, but it was enough to get a 30-27. And it's the physical advantages and intangibles that, makes me scared. I think the over covers it. If you think Perrin's going to win, I think he wins decision. Right? I'll be surprised if he finishes this kid, especially because the kid's not going to stand with him. Right? How's he going to knock him out? Like, Arichi Kolang is literally zero head movement. Like, Durden was cracking him as well. So, and he gassed. But yeah, that's it from me. Thanks for joining in. I'm surprised anyone even joined. I didn't even give anyone a heads up or anything. Good luck on your picks. That reminds me, for Bellator, I played. What did I play for Bellator? For Bellator, I played the starts round 3 in the Dalton Roster fight. I just bit the bullet and played it. Whatever. Hopefully, it doesn't finish round 1 or 2. And I've just got my stats. A little bit on stats. $1.76, but that's about it. What do we got here? Fair one. No worries, mate. All good. Alrighty. Good luck, everyone. I haven't really taped any LFA, so I guess I'll have to do it tomorrow morning, my Bucks night weekend, and hopefully find some plays. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know if you enjoy this or not, and hopefully bring it back next week. Peace.